This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. Oh, look, I'm bathed in radiant divine sunlight. That's lovely. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's beginner medieval ballroom dance class. Today, we are going to be covering the dance Anello. And the word Anello means ring. This is a dance that is for 4 people. I have actually created a version for 2 that we taught in the last series, just because we live in times of plague and we might not necessarily have the 4 people we need for this dance. But today we're going to cover the dance for 4. It's a very basic level dance. It consists of 4 parts. So let's go ahead and dive right in, and then I'm going to intersperse some fun little cultural things along the way. So let's go ahead and put the music on, and we're just going to start by walking around the room to warm up. We'll put the actual music for Anello on. Okay, so weight is on our right foot and left, right, left, right. So we're just walking on 1 and 3 of the beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Keep walking. Check. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now come up on the balls of our feet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep walking. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's raise and lower ourselves as though we were stepping over a pile of pleasantness. Raise, lower, 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 raise, lower. Da, 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 da. Right, so for those who may be joining this class for the first time, these are sempi. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So next level of step. Those are single steps. Next level of step is our doppio, our double step. And a doppio consists of 3 steps and a pause. So in this music, which is in 4/4, that would be step, 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 pause, step, 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 pause. So that looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So nothing on the 4th count. Step, 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 pause, step, 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 pause, step, step, step. Step, 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 step. Step, 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 pause, step, 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 pause. Step, 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 pause, step, step, step. Step, 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 step. Step, step, step. Step, step, step. Step, step, step. Now let's go ahead and add raising and lowering. So we'll rise and lower. Up, up, 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 lower. Now if you're comfortable with that, you go ahead and add a bit of shoulder shading. So left shoulder goes with the left foot, right shoulder goes with the right foot. So one shoulder leads through the entire double, the entire doppio. 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So it's up, up, lower, up, up, lower, up, up, lower. And of course, if you're not comfortable with that, then just leave the raising and lowering out, and you can just walk on the front halves of your feet, basically. Now in dancing, you really never want to walk heel-toe, at least not in pre-17th century dancing. It's all on the front halves of your feet. Up, up, lower. Step, step, step. Step, step, step. Step, step, step. Step, step, step. Okay, so are there questions about the sempio or the doppio? Singles or doubles?
Actually, I had a question about the, what was that called with the shoulder?
Right, so that is called in English, hold on a minute. In English, that is called shoulder shading.
Like shaving,
And
shoulder shaving?
shoulder shading. There is no one term for it in the original source. In the original source, they just sort of insinuate it. They talk about leading with the shoulder that leads the step. So there is no like great single term for it. The 15th century sources are much more descriptive than they are prescriptive in their way of phrasing things, because the 15th century, the jargon, the vocabulary of dance is still evolving. You can tell that it's there's a lot of new innovative footwork and concepts being thrown onto the dance floor, and it's not really until the end of the 15th century that a lot of things get codified. But even still, by the mid-16th century, you can see there's still some codification left, so it's not until like 1580 that we reach the point of pedantic, step by step, everything has its own specific vocabulary level of dance manual. Yeah. Was that more information than you wanted?
Thank you. I love it. It's like, oh, it's, and is it just that so the shoulder is kind of turning in towards the step?
Exactly. So if my left foot leads, then my left shoulder just lightly leads through the double. And then if my right foot leads, then just a light shading. Like, we don't want to go completely vertical, so I'll come at you so you can see the difference. So it's just this kind of light, flirty, one shoulder is forward versus this. Right, we're not doing that. We're not fencing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so it's just a light shading, and there's some implication that maybe not only the length of your steps, but maybe the amount of shoulder that comes forward might be influenced by the music. There's several chapters on dancing to and against the music and how the instruments and the music should impact your the style of your steps, the styling of your steps. But even there, the language is almost poetic, and it's intended to seem almost ethereally philosophical, because the purpose of a lot of these 15th century manuals is also to make dance seem like a respectable science as well as a respectable art. So they're trying to convince not only great princes to hire them for their courts, their dance masters to hire them as professional dance masters for their courts, they're also trying to convince the public at large that dance is not dissolute and that it is worthy of scholarly study and respect. So that comes across in language that at times in the original Italian almost seems intentionally obfuscational. It's almost intentionally opaque in parts to make it seem like this great deep intellectual exercise that it probably doesn't actually have to be. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for addressing that.
No, great question. And the people who will watch this in retrospect will regret that they weren't here to enjoy the answer live.
That just caught my attention. I'm like, oh, that's different. I don't know if you've, with the shoulder shaping from before, if this is kind of newer for this particular.
It could be. I haven't addressed it specifically before. This dance is simple enough in its choreography that I feel we can, for those who are more advanced, I always like to add a little bit extra in. So that's a nice little extra something that one can add, just a little bit of shoulder forward. And the key is that with the shoulder shading, it shouldn't be a John Wayne swagger. So it shouldn't be this, right? It should be one shoulder through the duration of the double, and that's determined by which foot leads the double. So right double means right shoulder all the way, left double means left shoulder all the way.
Okay.
So it's about the step unit, not the step, so to say. So a double is a step unit consisting of 3 steps of one shoulder through the entirety of the unit, whereas a single is a step unit, and so one shoulder over the unit of the single. So then for the singles, you would change shoulders, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, because it's a much slower step, and so you can manage that with some modicum of control and grace versus the double, right, where it just gets silly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very, very interesting.
You're welcome. Great question. I love your questions. Your questions are always fantastic. Please keep asking them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well then, do you have any other questions?
I'm good.
Okay, then onward we go.
Okay.
So the next level of step in this dance, we're actually, I think this might be the first time in this series we've covered this one, is a double with a hop. It's called a saltarello, and it's a beautifully melodic word. Saltarello just means literally big hop, or a big leap, or a big jump. In Italian of the 15th century, at any rate, they don't seem to distinguish those nuances of feet leaving the air while moving, whereas of course in English, with our kleptomaniac linguistic tendencies, we have stolen words from various languages and then use them to give nuance to the movement. So we have leap and jump and hop and skip and all of that. In Italian, they have salto, right? And saltare, interesting linguistic note, saltare, the verb, is not only to hop, but also it's a synonym for dancing in this era. So that might be an indication that the saltarello is actually an older form of dance, and it is. We know we have music from the 14th century, so that the origin of dancing in Italy might actually have something to do with hopping, possibly a linguistic indication of dances that preceded the 15th century, for a lack of any kind of useful description. Right? Sometimes you have to turn to these paleolinguistic tools to explore past concepts and arts. Okay, so coming back off of that tangent, the saltarello is described as a double with a hop, and there's a lot of debate between dance scholars about whether the hop should initiate the movement, whether some people think it should come in the middle of the double, and other people think it should come at the end, and I am in the camp of people who believe it should come at the end. So I may do a whole discussion session about why that is, but we're not going to get into that for our lovely little beginner class. So the saltarello consists of 3 steps and a hop, and it looks like this. Step, 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 hop. So the hop is on the last step of the saltarello.
And there is a video for saltarello that discusses it out already.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, that's true. Actually, I did for the intermediate advanced class last week. We did saltarello as a partner dance because it is also an entire partner, leader-follower partner dance. And I've posted that on the YouTube Creative Contessa channel, and I actually lead with discussion, a brief discussion about why I put the hop at the end. So if you're interested in that, check out last week's intermediate advanced saltarello class. I'll send the link for that with this video recording. And if you're watching this in retrospect, go to my YouTube channel, check out last week's posting for the saltarello leader-follower dance. Okay, so saltarelli in sequence look like this. If I lead with my left foot, left, hop, right, hop, left, hop. So it's not an extra step, it's an ornament on that hop. So to break it down, let's just practice step, hop, just a step and a hop. So weight is on our right foot, our left foot is free. We go step, hop. And my other leg comes up, my knee, my knee comes up to sort of help generate a little bit of extra altitude, right? So let's try just step, hop, just for the sake of getting that step hop into our muscles. So we go left, hop, right, hop, left, hop, right, hop, left. And I want you to focus on landing softly. So use the ball of your foot to catch yourself when you come down, and use the muscles in your calf and the muscles in your feet to actually lower yourself rather than falling to the earth like a ton of bricks, right? No bricks. Gentle feather landing. So, and if you want to drill things like that, please do come to my footwork drills class. We hammer things like that until they're perfect, or you hate me, or both. Could go either way. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to put the music on, and let's just walk a series of saltarelli to the actual music, because the dance actually commences with 8 of these saltarelli. Left foot. Left, 2, 3, hop, right. Left, 2, 3, hop, right. Left, 2, 3, hop, right, 2, 3, hop. Left, 2, 3, hop, right, 2, 3, hop. So, the dance actually, that is the start of the dance, in fact. It commences with 8 of those saltarelli. Okay, so are there questions about the saltarello? Okay, there seeming to be no questions. Let us move on to the last step that we need for this dance, the piva. So the word piva is actually defined in an Italian English dictionary from a little bit after this era, from 1600-ish, by an Italian Englishman named John Florio. And he defines the piva as being the bagpipes. He actually says this is the word for bag, it's a synonym for bagpipes. And that makes sense because the piva as a step is described as being that sad step that the villagers dance in the country. And so if you ever look at imagery of people dancing from this era, you'll frequently see a bagpiper and you'll see a bunch of peasants dancing to the bagpipes. It's hardly ever elegant people dancing to bagpipes. It's nearly always people in the country frolicking about bucolically. So the piva is described as a double that is altered and accelerated by the music that stimulates the dancer to it. So doubles, 3 steps and a pause. And in this dance, it actually ends up being literally a double time double. Because in the space that we've been walking these saltarelli, right, step, 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 hop, step, 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 hop, we're actually going to fit 2 of these piva, these double time doubles. So to get that idea into our head, let's put our weight on our right foot. And I'm going to count 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And I want you to step on the whole counts and the half counts. So the numbers and the ands. So we'll start slowly, and then I'll accelerate that to get you going faster and faster. Note, the faster the music, the smaller the steps. So it's going to be easier to do this with tiny steps than it is with large steps, and that's on purpose. So let's put our weight on our right foot so that our left foot is free. I'll count 4 for nothing, and then I want you to step on the ones, on the whole numbers and the ands. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and 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 da 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 Okay, so one piva consists of 3 of those steps. And in this music, it's very even. Piva aren't always even, sometimes they're these skippy steps, right? And I think we've done a couple of dances where we had the skippy version. This is not the skippy version, this is the running version of the piva. Because the music is in 4, so it's even. Every step gets the same amount of length. So let us just try one of these little running piva, and I'll demonstrate it first at tempo. So at tempo, it looks like this. 1, 2, 3. So quick, quick, quick. Think of it that way. Quick, quick, quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. Oh, dance, my left foot is facing you. Weight is in our right foot, our left foot is free. 4 for nothing. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and quick, quick, quick. So really, it's really like a little cute running step. Notice it was 3 steps and a pause. Pause is a very strong word here. Mini pauses may be more accurate. Now right foot is free for the next one. So let's go ahead and try that with the right foot. 4 for nothing. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and quick, quick, quick. So you'll notice, it's still 3 steps and a pause, just really quick. So let's just do a series of those just to practice these running piva. Running piva, just like floating piva, running piva is a creative Contessa invention that at some point I realized I needed nuances for all these different kinds of piva based on the musical influence. So I call these the running piva. Weight is on our right foot, our left foot is free. I'll give you 4 for nothing, and then I just want us to do a series of these running piva to get it into our muscle memory. Okay. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and quick, 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 quick. Step, 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 step. Da 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 da. Okay, so in this dance, you will do 4 of those at a time. 4 of those at a time. So let's go ahead and get that idea into our muscle memory, and we'll do 4, just 4. First one is on the left, second on the right, third on the left, second on the right. So weight is on our right foot, our left foot is free. 4 for nothing. 4 and, excuse me, let me get the right music in my head. Da 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 and da 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 da. That was actually 8. But in the dance it repeats, so person 1 does 4 of them and person 2 does 4 of them. So doing 8 is okay, it's good for practice. Okay, are there questions about these running piva? They will obviously come back to us. This is all going to haunt us at some point. Okay, the last step we need to know then is a step called a movimento. And movimiento, or movimento, means movement. And it's not, again, it's not given any kind of real description, but in earlier versions of the dances where the word movimento appears, in later versions of the dance, we have words like altanza or altura that imply a lifting. And also, the word movimento is used in dances, in sequences, where it's very clear they want you to do some kind of lifting with your body as a preparatory movement to launch into a very elevated, airy sort of steps. So that being said, the best description of it is a movimento is accompanied by any gesture that a gentleman may make to a lady in public. And so now I'm going to ask my actual partner to come here, because it's always, movimenti are always a very sort of call response sort of thing. Beloved? Yep. So movimenti are always a very call response sort of sequence. So the leader will do a movimento, the follower respond, or vice versa. And the language in the sources is nearly always the follower responds or the leader responds. It's risponde, like they literally respond. So he's on my left, I'm on the right, so he's the leader. So this is not a hop. It is not a hop. It is a rising and a lowering, and it's very controlled. So we're definitely using our calf muscles and the muscles in our feet here, which is why in our drills classes, one of the reasons that we drill with actually calf raises, single foot and double footed ones, right? So in terms of just general movement, it's going to be up, down, and you can add a little bit of that shoulder shading to it. So a little bit, nothing big, just a little subtle movement by, sort of just arcing that shoulder from forward to backwards. And that's applying the idea of the shoulder shading that's used on dopey and single sempi onto this movimenti. So this is how it would look as a call response sort of thing. So he goes, da-da-da, I respond, da-da-da. And in time of the music, each of us gets 2 counts. So the timing will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and just try that. 4 for nothing. Ready, or 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1, da-da-da, da-da-da. And it could be to your partner, or it might be that you're doing it to another person. It could go either way. Okay. It depends on the dance. And the dance sometimes will be specific about that. And this one is not specific about to whom the followers are responding. It just says that the followers respond. So let's just give that set of movimenti a try again. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Okay. Are there questions about the movimenti?
Can you see me with that light?
Yeah,
Try and see.
So the entire dance is in 4, 4, 4. So it's on quaternaria. Yeah, I guess that might be better, maybe. And then it gets kind of dark. Yeah. Lighting is always such a problem in this house. The cameras.
Maybe that'll
So The dance is for 2 couples. This version is for 2 couples. I do have a version for 2 people. We taught in the last series specifically so that if you're at a ball and you can't find another couple to join your set, you have a nice version for 2 to dance. This is a version for 4. There are multiple versions for 4 floating around out there specifically because the initial description of the opening section is kind of vague. So because we are dancing in plague times and people might be dancing in tighter spaces, we are going to be learning what I call the ring version of this dance. And that is an interpretation that may or may not actually be valid for the opening part, but it is a nice, fun version and it is good for tight spaces. So that's why we're doing this version. I have another interpretation of the original source that I do really like, but it's also hard to demonstrate without a second couple. So it's okay to learn multiple versions of the same dance. It gives you more tools in your arsenal and it makes, it helps keep your life interesting. So we're going to do the ring version. So the ring version, I would like you to imagine that we actually have a second couple, right? And he's the leader and I'm the follower, and that matters in this dance. There's leaders and followers. And we're in a ring. And instead of standing facing into the center of our ring, you actually do see there is imagery of like a set of 2 couples dancing in a ring around a tree specifically. So this isn't beyond the realm of possibility, actually this little tight ring. But instead of facing into the center, we're actually going to take a quarter turn to our left. And we're going to rotate our hands. We're going to get closer to the camera so you can see. We assume the wagon hitch hold, right? We have this wagon hitch. Okay. So that means back hand is like this and someone else's hand is latched into that like a wagon hitch. Okay. So, yes. So this allows us to move in a direction. Now we can do the wagon hitch to the left, but we can also do the wagon hitch to the right. Right? And you'll need to do both. Well, you don't need to do both, but I recommend learning to do both. Okay, so the dance opens with 8 of those saltarelli, the step, 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 hop. Okay. Let's go ahead and just practice dancing in a ring, and I want you to imagine that you have 2 other couples with you. In a ring, these 8 saltarelli. So weight is in our right foot, our left foot is free. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1, step, 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 hop, 2, da, 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 3, da, 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 4, da, 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 5, da, 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 6, da, 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 7, da, 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 8, da, 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 da. Okay. Are there questions about that initial ring? We're about to morph the ending a little bit to create our dance formation. A note, the reason that I consider the ring a possible valid opening for this is for people who may have danced other versions, is because the name of the dance is in fact Anello, which means ring. So it's in my mind, and because of the way the initial opening is kind of vaguely described, maybe this is a possible interpretation of the opening at any rate. Okay, so when you're going around that ring up, baby. When you're going around that ring, you can make eye contact with the person in front of you. You can kind of look over your shoulder flirtily, make eye contact with the person behind you. You can make eye contact with the person across the way. So there's lots of wonderful opportunities for interaction during this little ring figure. Let's go ahead and talk about the morphing. So the morph. The last saltarello is not going to be done in our ring. It's going to be used to open the set. So we'll demonstrate what I mean by that. So we'll demonstrate from the last 4 saltarelli so you can see. So we're going around with our last 4. We go 5, da, 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 6, da, 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 7, da, 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 and then 8 we open up and we go backwards, actually. Okay. So on 8, drop hands and just go backwards from wherever you are. And now we're in this diamond formation. Ladies are looking at ladies, gentlemen are looking at gentlemen. Or leaders are looking at leaders, followers are looking at followers. So let's go ahead and try that with the morph. So we have our ring, our 8 saltarelli. The 8th saltarello, we drop hands and move backwards. Okay? 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1, da 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 da, 4 more, 5 da 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 da, 6 da 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 da, 7 da da da, backing away. Okay, questions about that opening? Just a little bit this way. Yeah, okay.
Back to front.
A little bit that way, a little bit back now. Okay, so now, hypothetically, I'm looking at my imaginary fellow follower, he's looking at his imaginary fellow leader. So that's part 1, this 4-part dance I mentioned. So, part 2 and part 3 and part 4 are all a series of interactions between leaders and followers and in between all of those. The sections 2 and 3 actually open, both of them open with those movimenti that we practiced. So the figure is going to be, the leaders will do a movimento, followers will respond. That's how it opens, both 2 and 3 open this way. So let's practice that. Followers movimento, leaders movimento, followers respond. Ready, and leaders, followers. One more time, 4 for nothing, 4, 3, 2, 1. Leaders, followers. Now, let's practice the inverse of that because 15th century dances and 16th century dances are very fond of symmetry. So they like to repeat the same thing, but inverted so that there's this perfect sort of harmonious mathematical symmetry. So, inverting, followers will movimento, leaders will respond. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Followers, leaders. Now, you could address that movimento to your partner, to the person across from you, or to the other person's partner. Your choice. And if you actually do it right, you can actually kind of get everyone. So, right, so I start to my left, and by the end of it, I've, made eye contact with everyone. So that's a possibility. So I'll demonstrate how that will look. So we'll do it with him leading. 4, 3, 2, 1. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Right. Or maybe you start, because I'm going to lead with the left shoulder, maybe you start to your right and you move to the left. Right, it's your choice. You can actually kind of make this movement a little more dynamic by doing that, if you want. It's a more advanced move. For my beginners, just do regular movimenti, da-da-da, da-da-da. Good. So that's the opening of sections 2 and 3. Leaders movimento, followers respond. And now we have an exchange. The leaders are going to switch places, geographically speaking. The leaders switch places through the center of our ring, through the center of our circle. And they will pass right shoulders. Okay. And at the end of that, they will do a movimento to face. So that last hop of the last saltarello becomes a half turn. So you just use the hop to do a half turn. Mezza volta is the word in, I said half turn.
You said movement.
Sorry, I apologize. The last step of the last saltarello is a mezza volta, a half turn. And whenever quick note on half turning, on mezza volta, on pivoting. If you know that a half turn is coming, you do not make that turning step a straight step in your line of motion. You make it a tangential step so that you're already ready to pivot. You wind yourself up like clockwork. So I'm going to be turning over my left shoulder, so I put my foot diagonally to the left, and that makes it easy for me to then turn over the left shoulder. With the hop, same thing, step, hop. Because trying to get a half turn in when you've made a step straight, that's hard. Step, hop. Right? So you always place that foot tangentially in the direction you're turning. And reminder, in the 15th century and in the 16th century, you always want to turn with your face forward, unless very specifically specified otherwise, because we don't want our skirts to be tangled around our feet. We want them to flow around us in the direction of dance.
Makes it very pretty.
Okay, so back to figure 1. We have movimento, then gentlemen are going to switch places through the center with the 2 saltarelli. Second hop of the second saltarello is a half turn. So let's go ahead and try that. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, just the switching. Sorry, just the saltarello switching. Not the movimento, just the saltarello switching. 4, 3, 2, 1. Step, 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 hop, step, 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 hop. Okay? So, they've switched places.
A little bit far from me.
Yep. let us go ahead and try that with the movimenti. So go back to your original place. So figure's going to be leaders movimento, followers respond, leaders switch through the center to saltarelli, ending with that mezza volta to face with that half turn. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Movimento, movimento, step, 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 hop, step, 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 hop. What?
Face my partner made of me, or my.
Okay. Don't let your imagination carry you away. It's bad enough that you're only dancing with half a set or maybe all by yourself. Okay, posture. Dance posture. Dance posture, recap, is always your head is aligned with your spine. Your spine is a straight line all the way down to the ground, right? No head hanging forward, no slouching. Shoulders back, head aligned. Okay, so we repeat that figure, but inverting. I mentioned we invert it. So the followers will do a movimento, leaders will respond, and then the followers will switch through the center to saltarelli, passing right shoulders. The dynamic on this, though, because we're passing right shoulders, this is going to allow me to come very close to the opposite partner and flirt with him as I pass by. Or I can flirt with her, whichever I want, or both. I mean, I've got 2 saltarelli, there's time.
I wasted time staring down my rival.
You did, yes. Yes, you did. Okay, so figure is going to be followers movimento, leaders respond, followers switch to saltarelli. Okay, weight is on our right foot, left foot is free. Movimenti from the followers, 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Followers, leaders, followers, step, 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 hop, step, 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 hop. Okay, let's go ahead and try that whole figure from where you're standing from the leaders movimenti. So leaders movimento, followers respond, leaders switch. Followers movimento, leaders respond, followers switch. Let's go ahead and try that. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Leaders, followers, leaders, step, 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 hop, step, 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 hop. Followers, leaders, followers, step, 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 hop, step, 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 hop. Okay, questions about that first section? Then let's go ahead and dance that whole thing from the beginning of the dance with the music. So to recap, we will have our 8 saltarelli. 8th saltarello is to spread apart backwards from each other. And then immediately we go into the movimento, movimento switch, movimento, movimento switch. And as you are learning choreographies, remember we've talked about this. If you haven't done my classes before, I'll mention it again. I always try to memorize dances in terms of discrete sections with descriptive names for each section. So for this dance, I think of this section as movimento switch, because it starts with movimento and then we switch through the center. So I call this section movimento switch. Okay? Tool for didactic tool for memorizing dances. So 8 saltarelli and then movimenti switch, leading with the gentleman. Nice intro. You can do nice reverenza during this little intro. Saltarelli. 1, 2, 3, hop. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last one, spreading. Movimenti. Men, ladies, men, step, step, step. Hop, step, step, step. Followers, movimento. Leaders, step, step, step. Hop, step, 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 hop. So I want to emphasize that the movimento is not a hop. It is just a raising and lowering. So avoid the urge to pop like a pea on a medieval frying pan. Yes, you did. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again from the top. Nice reverenza during the intro. Facing to your left, saltarelli. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice soft landing. 6. Here's the last one. We're spreading. Saltarelli or movimenti. Followers, leaders, step, step, step. Hop, step, step, step. Followers, leaders, followers, step, step, step. Hop, step, 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 hop. Okay, questions about that? Well, the advantage to many of you watching this in the recording is that you can stop and rewind at will. So we are going to therefore press on with the next section of the dance, the second section, the third section. First section is our little circle procession. Then we have movimento switch. We're now up to our third section. Third section, I mentioned, also commences with those movimenti, but this time we're not going to go anywhere. The gentlemen are going to try something different to impress us, rather than running away to the other side of the circle. So I call this section movimento turn. Movimento turn. So let's learn a new figure. The new figure for, well, some of you it's a new figure, is a volta tonda. And that just means a turn over a shoulder that is 360 degrees. And the volta tonda can be various actual footwork. So frequently, or always in fact, as far as I can think actually, they will say, do a volta tonda with this specific sequence of steps. And they say what that sequence is for that volta tonda. Okay, so for this volta tonda, we're actually going to turn all the way around over our left shoulder, left, right, left, right. So it's almost like a 4-step turning double. So we go left, right, left, right. Okay, so, I don't know, put your weight on your right foot, left foot is free, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just turning in place, I end where I started. It's just turning in place with 4 steps. Takes 1 bar of music, step, 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 step. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that together. Weight is on our right foot, our left foot is free. 4 for nothing, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is the volta tonda in this dance, and that is a form of volta tonda that is extremely common in dances that are in 4/4, in quaternary dances like this one is. So the pattern is going to be very similar to section 2, to our movimento switching. It's going to be leaders movimento, followers respond, and then the leaders will turn all the way around over their left shoulder. So the timing on that is going to be, let me see, get the music in my head. Da, 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 da. Okay. So let's go ahead and try that. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Leaders, followers, leaders, turn, 2, 3, 4. Then we invert that. Followers movimento, leaders respond. Followers turn all the way around over their left shoulders. Let's try that. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Followers, leaders, followers, turn, 2, 3, 4. So let's put that all together now. Leaders will movimento turn, followers will movimento turn. Okay, ready, and, 4 for nothing. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Leaders, followers, leaders, turn, 2, 3, 4. Followers, leaders, followers, turn, 2, 3, 4. One more time, but this time we're going to invert it because the second time the music repeats, and the second time through that music, the followers lead. So the pattern will be followers movimento, leaders respond, followers turn. So, weight is on your right foot, left foot is free, followers, movimento, 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1, followers, leaders, followers, turn, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's put all of section 3 together, starting with the leaders movimenti. So the pattern will be leaders movimento, followers respond, leaders turn, followers movimento, leaders respond, followers turn. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1, leaders, followers, leaders, turn, 2, 3, 4, followers, leaders, followers, turn, 2, 3, 4.
As a leader, I particularly like this one because if I have anything flowing, when I do my part, the spin, by the time she's done with her thing, I can grab my cloak and flip it back or my
Jornea. Yeah.
It looks great.
Okay, questions about movimento turning before we put it together with the rest of the dance?
I do have a question.
Yes.
So is this something, because it looks somewhat complicated, but maybe through repetition it gets easier and easier. Now, is this something that people would just learn? They would work on before going to the ball? Like this is something
That's
they would rehearse?
that is a very good question. So we have zero evidence of teaching happening teaching happening at balls. We have plenty of evidence of private dance masters going to people's homes and teaching there. It actually appears in account books from this era. Apparently in Florence at about this time, a piper would be hired. So the piper was the dance teacher, and the piper would be hired to come and teach the ladies of the house. Probably also the gentlemen, but frequently it's in reference to a young lady of the house in the account books. And he would come and he would actually get paid a florin for an hour lesson, apparently, in this era. So yeah, they would definitely learn. These dances were learned in advance, and I would bet that just like dancing in countries with strong social dance cultures like Latin America, not like North America, where children just grow up seeing it, and so they pick up patterns. Children's brains are wired for that. And so they probably see and they imitate, and so when it comes time for actual dance lessons, they're already pre-programmed, having just been immersed in this dance culture their whole lives. So yeah, there's definitely the formal teaching component, and we knew that happened. And in fact, one of the dance masters who was originally Guglielmo da Pesaro but converted to Christianity and changed his name to Giovanni Ambrosio, he had a dancing school and in northern Italy, and it seems that actually a lot of members of the Jewish community were dance masters who had dance schools. So there's both these dance schools that are referenced, and then there's also private tutelage. It does not seem that very much or any teaching happened during a ball. So yeah, everyone knew this going in. And it could be that they might go to a ball and then see a new choreography from someone else's dance master and then want to learn that. And so then they hire the dance master to come and teach them the new thing. Yeah. Good question. Did that answer it, or was that too much information?
No, thank you. I appreciate all the information, because I'm just looking at this and thinking, wow, I could take the whole ball just to, if you weren't familiar with it ahead of time, that it could take quite a bit of time to get all the nuances down.
Well, so when I'm leading dancing, there's a difference between when I have an hour to teach a dance and what I call turbo teaching. And turbo teaching at a ball, which I've also done, I've taught numerous balls over my 26 years of doing this, where we're teaching on the fly. You focus on geography, you don't focus on footwork, right? So in a what I call the combat scenario of learning a dance during a ball, footwork, that's nothing. It's all about just getting to where you need to be in the time allotted by the music. So that's the difference between a nice hour class where we can take down and break down all these nuances versus just dancing to get out and enjoy yourself, which that's a modern concept, I can almost guarantee, except for dancing late night in private chambers. There I have chronicler evidence of Bianca Sforza married Maximilian I of the Archduke of Austria after his beloved Mary of Burgundy died tragically in a hunting accident. And she brought with her her favorite Italian dances, and we actually have evidence of her teaching her ladies in her chamber how to dance during late night frivolity. So that's, yeah, another way that dance was taught. And probably she didn't break down all these little nuances and focus on shading and aire and all of that. She probably most likely just focused on geography and the basics of moving your feet for that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, it would be easier if I had a second couple. We were going to have a second couple, but one of them broke her ankle, and then her partner didn't want to just be there on his own without her. So bad luck. Bad luck. It's definitely easier. Yeah, it looks much less complicated the second you have another set of human beings with you. But also it's a repertory thing, right? If you're already versed in the general repertory, then learning a new dance just becomes easier because you start to see different patterns that repeat and different sorts of interactions that repeat.
And maybe those opportunities of just watching, I think that whole point of growing up around it and just watching for hours and hours.
Yeah, and the music just being what you hear, right? It's this kind of music is what they hear even just in the background of their daily lives. So, yep. It's a different world, but once, I can guarantee you, speak from personal experience, once you do it long enough, then the repertory just becomes second nature, and any new things are easy to pick up.
Okay.
Thank you, great questions.
Thanks.
Okay, back to Anello. We're now going, where are you going? No, we're gonna dance it all the way through.
Oh.
Yes, we're now going to dance it all the way through. So we have our opening 8 saltarelli in our ring. And actually that's a good point. If you're having issues with the footwork at this stage, I want you to focus on the geography, on being where you need to be. And I'm gonna demonstrate, he's gonna walk saltarelli. I'm going to walk, you want to walk steps? Okay. He's going to walk saltarelli in the ring, and I'm just going to walk, just normal walking steps at the same time. So you can see that I, in fact, don't have to do the exact footwork, even though we're all holding hands, and I can still do the dance. So 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Da 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 right? I can just walk step, 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 and get through. Same thing on the switching figure, right? So.
You want me to do my opposite?
Right, so I'll be the opposite for this one. So, I'll walk saltarelli, he's just gonna walk steps. Can you manage that? Okay, so we go movimento, da-da-da, da-da-da, and then we step, 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 right? You can just use walking steps and it still works. So yeah, if at any point in a dance, when I'm teaching or leading, and I find this perfectly acceptable, if it comes down to a question, I can't remember the geography and the steps, geography is king, steps come second. There are probably dance masters rolling over in their graves right now, and there are definitely modern dance masters who think that's an offensive approach to dance. But I like dance to be accessible to everyone, and for people to actually have fun and worry about perfection later. That is the Contessa's School of Dance. Fake it till you make it, baby. So let's go ahead and do this perfectly for them.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we're gonna dance the whole dance through to that point. Sections. Section 1 is our 8 saltarelli, so ringing, we're ringing it. Think of it as the opening section is The Ring, disturbing movie. Section 2 is movimento switch. Section 3 is movimento turn. Okay, let's go ahead and do that all the way through to that point.
Always darkens up.
Okay, yeah, I block the light. I am the light killer. Okay, from the top, nice little intro. Hands up, and we turn to the left, taking hands in our circle, saltarelli. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, spreading. Movimenti, men, ladies, men, switch, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, ladies, da-da-da, men, ladies, switch, 2, 3, movimenti, turn, da, da, men, turn, ladies, men, ladies, turn, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're at the last part of the dance. So thus far, we've had movimenti to open each of these sections, right? But this time, the 4th and final section, all the movimenti, all 4 of them come at the end. Why, you ask? Because they can. Just to change it up a little bit. So we have another switching figure in terms of geography, but this time, instead of people switching places with their opposite through the center, we're going to switch behind our partner's back. So, and you should be on this side now, and I should be, okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we're going to go behind our partner's back. Yes, because we should have switched places.
We did switch places, but then you switched places.
Oh, right, okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. We're going to switch places behind your partner's back. So in terms of geography, he's going to walk behind my back to the other side of our ring. And his ghost just did the same thing. So that's the geography. You're going behind your partner's back. Emphasis on partner. In this dance, no matter how perfidious your partner is, no matter where they flee, whither they flee, they are your partner. So whether they're to your left or to your right, they're your partner. I say this because now that he's going behind my back to switch places, I'm going to go behind his back to switch places with my opposite. So I go behind his back, we're just using walking steps for now, and we end up in the other person's place, like so. Okay, so the actual footwork for that is 4 of those little running piva that we practiced at the beginning, right? So the timing on that, the timing on the music is going to actually sound like you should run. It's flight music. It goes da 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 da, right? It even goes up an octave practically, the register. So that's the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the men will do those 4 running piva behind their partner's back to switch places, and then immediately the followers will switch places with their 4 little running piva. So that will look like this, 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Da 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 da. Right. So let's try that again. The little running piva from wherever you are, doesn't matter. Just know where your partner is. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Da 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 da. Followers da 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 da. These cute little running piva. Now, if you have another version of piva and you prefer that, I'm not going to hammer it. Do your preferred piva. Just get to the other side of your ring. And now we do all the movimenti that we did not do. All the movimenti that we did not do. So the leaders will movimento, da-da-da, followers will respond, da-da-da, and then again, we don't invert this time. We don't invert the movimenti, exception. But the leaders get another set, and the followers get another set. So the timing on that is going to be da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. That's how the music will go. So leaders, followers for the movimenti. Let's try those back-to-back movimenti. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Da-da-da. Followers, leaders, and followers. And then the leaders. And we're doing, this is the beginner version of this dance, so we're not going to break down the actual footwork here. You're going to take hands with your partner, and you're just going to do a reverenza. 1, 2, 3. There's a little represa that comes in here. We're not going to worry about that at this stage. I might do a video on this where I talk about this ending specifically, and because it's a little bit complicated, but it's not necessary in this dance because we're in a ring. Yes. Okay, so let's do switching behind your partner's back, and then all the movimenti. So the pattern is going to be 4 piva to switch, 4 piva to switch, movimento, 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 reverenza. Again, this is slightly simplified for the level of this class. I might do a little video on the complexity of the ending, and you can always add that little complex ending. It doesn't matter. You can do both endings at the same time. One couple doing one, the other couple doing the other, and it won't interfere with each other at all. Okay, so switching 4 piva behind your back, partner's back, and then the movimenti. 4 for nothing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Da 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 da. Followers da 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 da. All the movimenti da 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 da. And then the dance starts again. Now, the second time through in the original version, the followers go forward is what it says. That means the second time through, the followers do everything first. I will allow you to practice that on your own, inverting it and having the followers do everything first. For our purposes for this class, we're just practicing it with the leaders leading. But technically, the second time through, the followers should lead with the movimenti, they should lead with the switching, they should lead with the turning, they should lead with the behind their partner's back, right? That's a typical feature of these dances. Second time through, the followers become the leaders. But we're not going to do that in today's class. We're just going to do it with the leaders being the leaders. Because this is a recording, if you're watching this, you are welcome to rewind and practice everything again from the perspective of the followers leading.
Play it backwards, does it?
No, it doesn't. So we're gonna dance the whole dance through twice. 8 saltarelli for the opening, right, for the ring. Then we have movimento switch through the center, movimento turn, and the final figure is switch behind your partner's back, ending with the movimento. So that's how I remember the dance. I will call it, we will dance it twice. I'm gonna go ahead and admit our student for the next class, and he can just watch. He should have been here for the first class, but he probably got lazy and slept in. Okay, so twice through the dance, we're going to do leaders leading both times through. Saltarelli, 8. 5, 6, 7, spreading, leaders, movimento, followers, leaders, switch, stop hopping. Followers, leaders, followers, step, 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 hop, step, step, step. Movement, turn, then turn, followers, stop, leaders, followers, turn. Behind your partner's back, Kiva. Followers. All the movimenti, men, ladies, men, ladies, and a nice reverenza from the top. Not as much music as you think there is, my love. 4 more. 5, 6, 7, spreading. Movimenti, movimento, switch, 2, 3, hop, switch, 2, 3, hop. Followers, leaders, followers, switch. Movimento, movimento, leaders turn. Ladies, gentlemen, ladies turn. Behind your partner's back, men. Da 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 da. Followers. All movimenti, men, ladies, and reverenza. Okay. So, that has been your beginner ballroom class on Anello. Advantage of a recording is if you want to repeat anything, you can do so with vigor. So we've gone a little over with the excellent questions we have today, so we're going to call it there. But do you have any other questions, Jen?
No, thank you for such a great class. It's finally like breaking into parts. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, how it kind of all goes together. So
it is it is absolutely, at first it all seems confusing, and that's why a lot of people don't actually give 15th century dance the fair shake it deserves, because at first it seems so foreign, but they need to remember that every new thing seems foreign at first and just keep going with it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Very great class.
Thanks. Have a lovely day, Jen.
Too. Bye.